What if the entire entertainment industry was on the brink of extinction? In this heated debate, Keanu Reeves and Elon Musk face off in a fight that will shape the future of art and technology. Can artificial intelligence replace the human soul? Can an algorithm create movies that we truly love? Or is it just an illusion that hides the loss of the most valuable thing, emotions? When Musk brings Keanu 2 to the screen, the room goes silent. But Keanu makes a move no one saw coming. His final argument is to defend Musk in the shadows. Don't turn off this video. Keanu's final line changes your idea of the future. Is Hollywood dead? Keanu versus technology. The crowd was buzzing like a storm. The hall, designed for several thousand people, was packed to capacity, and the online broadcast was already receiving more than 10 million listeners. Everyone was waiting for this moment, the appearance of two giants. On one side of the stage was Elon Musk, a man whose ambitions extended beyond the Earth's orbit. His smirk was smug, his posture relaxed, as if the outcome of the debate had already been decided. On the other was Keanu Reeves, calm, almost detached, but with that same look that conveyed depth. Musk was the first to speak. "Hollywood is the past," he said, pausing as if to allow the enormity of his statements to sink in. "The future belongs to artificial intelligence." The room buzzed. Thousands of messages instantly flew into the comments. Some agreed, some were indignant, but no one remained indifferent. Speaking lightly to Keanu, acknowledging Musk's right to ask such a question. "Do you think the future doesn't require a soul?" he asked calmly. The mask grinned. "Soul? Keanu, let's be honest. People don't need a soul. I need content. What do they watch every day? TikToks, videos, TV series that an algorithm selects for their interests. Artificial intelligence already knows what they are tomorrow." Keanu didn't look away. Who then decides what matters? Algorithms? Machines? Musk leaned forward, resting his elbows on the table. Value is determined by demand. Demand to create technology. This speaks of a process. When cars appeared, no one cried about the loss of horse-drawn carriages. Why should cinema be an exception? The crowd became excited. It was clear that many were using Musk. In the end, his words sounded logical. Technology always replaced the old with the new. But Keanu smiled. "Do you really believe that art is just a portable product?" He leaned back slightly, placed his hands on the table and said, "Have you ever seen a sunset?" Musk frowned. "What? A sunset?" Keanu repeated. "You can take a picture of it, put a filter on it, make it perfect. But you can't replace the experience. It's more than just an image. It's a feeling." The crowd began to buzz. Comments in the chat began to be written with phrases. "He's right." "Deep. Is the mask at a dead end?" Musk quickly pulled himself together. "You are suggesting a fight against the inevitable. People will not experience art if it can simply be consumed. Why then do they still not read books as they used to? Why is theater a niche industry and not mainstream?" Keanu bowed his head. "What happens when people turn to convenience? You know what's weird? Despite technology, they still go to the theater. They still want to hear live music, not just algorithmically curated playlists. They still want to see a person, not their digital record." The crowd began to roar again. Some were shouting yes, some were waving their arms, and the comments section was filled with number 9 supporting Keanu. Musk frowned. He had expected resistance, but not this. In his world, technology was the answer to everything. But Keanu wasn't talking about technology. He was talking about humanity. The mask quickly seized the initiative. "Keanu, you live in the past. You cling to romanticized ideas. But progress is not emotion. Progress is logic, speed, efficiency. History has shown that resisting technology is like arguing with the tide." Keanu looked at him silently for a few seconds, then slowly said, "What if progress is not a rejection of the past, but an awareness of it?" The crowd erupted in applause. Musk may not have lost, but he certainly didn't win. And that was just the beginning. Will AI destroy actors? Keanu challenges the future. The crowd was still buzzing from the initial verbal sparring. Musk was confident, but it was clear that Keanu had set a tone he hadn't expected. Elon was used to arguing with businessmen, engineers, people who spoke the language of digital and progress. But Reeves didn't play by those rules. He was talking about things that couldn't be measured. Musk waved his hand sharply, as if to dispel the emotions, and regain control of the room. "Okay, Keanu," he said with a grin. "You talk about emotions, about humanity. Great. Let's look at it from a different perspective." An image lit up on the huge screen behind him, the perfectly international AI Keanu Reeves. The facial expression, the movements, the voice, everything looked so realistic that a buzz swept through the room. "Meet your future," Musk said. The digital copy of Keanu smiled and spoke. "Hello everyone. I'm Keanu Reeves. I love people, but I don't need sleep, breaks, or bad days. I'll never get tired. I'll never forget my lines. I don't demand a fee. I'm perfect." The crowd froze. Some whistled in admiration. Some applauded. It was impressive. "Imagine, Keanu," Musk continues, grinning, "a world where actors no longer replace new faces. Where iconic videos can be endlessly revived. Where Hollywood doesn't spend millions on filming, it just runs an algorithm. Do you really think people would prefer you, alive and imperfect?" Keanu kept his eyes on the screen. He watched his digital counterpart, like reflections, that suddenly took on a life of their own. "An interesting illusion," he said finally. Musk raised his eyebrows. "Illusion? You mean the audience won't accept it?" Keanu turned slowly. "They'll take it as entertainment. What a funny trick. As a flashy novelty. But they won't feel anything real." The mask grinned. "Are you so sure?" Keanu turned to face the crowd. "Who among you cried over movies? Over a scene from Titanic? Over The Green Mile?" The crowd buzzed. Many raised their hands. "Who among you cried when looking at a video game character created by artificial intelligence?" The hall fell silent. "Exactly," Keanu said. Musk frowned. "It's temporary. Artificial intelligence. It can already play music, write scripts. Soon it will learn to read electric waves and create what you like even better than people themselves." Keanu chuckled. "Then tell me, Elon." He raised his hand and stepped onto the screen, where his digital version was still smiling. "Where is the soul here?" Musk did not respond immediately. The crowd froze. "You just see an image that looks familiar, but there's nothing inside. It's just an empty shell. It's not afraid, it doesn't suffer, it doesn't think about love, loss, hope." He looked at the crowd again. Actors don't just portray emotions. They experience them. The hall became noisy. Musk crossed his arms. "Keanu, but the viewer doesn't see that. The result is important to them." "It's not." Reeves shook his head. "When you look at something artificial, you feel it. It's like chatting with a real person. They might be typing the right words, but you know there's no one on the other side of the screen." Musk grinned, but there was surprise in his eyes. "So you think that artificial intelligence will not be able to create real art?" "Art is not a question of whether or not you can," Keanu replied. "Art is a question of what it means." The hall exploded with applause. On the digital screen, Keanu continued to smile. But now he looked like just a dead picture. Perfect movies without people? Keanu ruins Musk's dream. The crowd was still reeling from Keanu's punch, but Musk was too skilled a player to let that derail him. He took charge again, and the screen behind him changed. Now there was a scene from a movie. But no ordinary movie. This movie didn't exist. It was created entirely by artificial intelligence. "Welcome to the future." Musk paused dramatically, prompting viewers to digest what they had just seen. An action movie was unfolding on the screen. Dynamic scenes, ideal special effects, actors, too perfect to be real. This movie was made without a director, without a screenwriter, without actors. Just artificial intelligence. Musk's voice sounded solemn. It analyzed billions of hours of content, collected the best scenes, the best emotions, the best plot twists. It knows what you will like, even better than you do yourself. The room was buzzing. It was impressive. Even those who supported Keanu couldn't help but admit that technology had really come a long way. The mask grinned. "You said that artificial intelligence can't create art? What about this?" He waved his hand towards the screen. Keanu was silent. He was looking at the picture in front of him, and there was something in his eyes that made Musk tense up a little. "It looks interesting," Keanu finally said. "Just curious?" Musk laughed. "This is fucking perfect." Keanu looked up. "Exactly. Perfect." The crowd fell silent. "What?" Musk frowned. Keanu stood up from his chair and stepped forward, closer to the audience. "That's the problem." "Are you kidding?" Musk snorted. "People like perfection. Nobody wants mediocrity, Keanu. They wanted the movie to hit their taste right, to have every camera move, secret defense, secret scene restored." Keanu shook his head. "People don't want perfection. They want the real thing." He looked around the hall. "How many times have you watched movies that may not have been edited, but made you feel something?" The crowd began to buzz. "When we watch old films, we don't remember that they are technically perfect. We remember the emotions they gave us." Someone shouted, "Yes. Human error is part of art." Take music. People still listen to vinyl because there is a roughness, an imperfection, something that makes the sound alive. Musk snorted. It's nostalgia, Keanu. You cling to the past because you're afraid of change. I'm not afraid of change, Keanu's voice grew firmer. I'm afraid of losing meaning. The crowd held its breath. You're saying that AI can create the perfect movie? Fine. You know what it can't create? What? Maska put her hands on her chest. Error. The mask grinned. Are you serious? Are you defending a mistake now? Yes, Keanu looked straight into Musk's eyes. Because mistakes are where the art lies. He glanced around the room. Steven Spielberg was making Jaws, and the mechanical shark didn't work. It was a mistake. But because of that, he changed his approach, and we got that intense style that made the film a classic. The crowd began to make noise. Al Pacino in The Godfather smashed his hand against the wall in the scene where his character learned of his brother's death. It wasn't in the footage. It was a living confidence that I'll never be able to replicate. The hall exploded with applause. The mask fell silent. Keanu turned slowly. You can make a perfect movie, but it will never be great. The audience no longer just listened. They felt. But Musk was different. The game is just beginning. The mask of economic words. Keanu's question that changed everything. The crowd was still buzzing from Keanu's powerful argument, but Musk didn't seem to be out of the game. He quickly regained his composure and took the initiative again. Okay, he said, crossing his arms. You're saying that humans need human error, not perfection. Great. Then tell me, Keanu, how do you explain that algorithms are already creating music, paintings, scripts that humans can't create from created humans? An image appeared on the screen. It was a painting created by a neural network. Deep colors, complex composition. It looked alive. It wasn't written by a human being, Musk said, but it sold for $432,500. The crowd shuddered. This is not art? Musk bowed his head. Keanu is in the next picture, but there was no surprise on his face. It was like he was expecting it. It's a good imitation, he said. Imitation? Musk chuckled. Or proof that artificial intelligence can already be an artist? Keanu looked straight into Musk's eyes. Are you sure that artificial intelligence understands what it produces? The hall became quiet. He doesn't understand anything, Keanu says. He just combines data, predicts patterns, figures out what will be liked. But that's not creativity. That's statistics. But the result? Musk began, but Keanu interrupted him. The result is not everything. It is important how you got there. Musk frowned. It doesn't matter as long as people perceive it as art. Really? Keanu took a step forward. And then he asked a question that made Musk shut up. Do you think that the study of intelligence is done by something replacing people, or by something that actually helps them? The hall held its breath. Musk opened his mouth but said nothing. The crowd froze. You spend billions to create a replacement for a person, not to help him become better. Why? There was a flash of doubt in Musk's eyes, and everyone noticed it. The crowd started chanting, Keanu. Keanu. Musk has lost the initiative. And Keanu did something that no one expected. He just went silent. He didn't need to speak anymore. The room talked about it. AI clone Keanu? The mask makes a shocking move. Musk couldn't afford to lose. Keanu had just stumped him, and the crowd felt it. But Elon was known for not giving up. A new video appeared on the screen behind him. You say that artificial intelligence can't be creative, Musk said slowly, emphasizing each word. That it doesn't know what it's doing. But what if you're wrong? The sound turns on and everything is original Keanu Reeves. But it wasn't Keanu who stood on stage. On the screen, his digital copy spoke to him in the same voice, with the same intonations. Hi, I'm Keanu Reeves, he said. I can't resist technology. I embrace it. I believe AI can make better movies than we can. The crowd froze. Keanu looked at the screen. Well, he said finally. The mask grinned. You know what's most interesting? He put his hands on his chest. This isn't a generated video. This is an online version of you. It learns in real time. It can carry on a conversation, someday, analyze your mannerisms and habits. The crowd exploded. Some people shouted, what the hell? And some people applauded. But Keanu didn't move. Do you think you'll surprise me with this? He finally said. It's not just a record anymore, Musk continued. It's an alternative. The digital Keanu on the screen turned his head and looked straight at the real Keanu. Come on, he said. Admit that you're impressed. The audience gasped. The real Keanu turned slowly. I'm impressed. Musk smiled triumphantly. So you admit that artificial intelligence can create you? Keanu looked at the screen. He can create a picture of me. He paused and then added, but not me. The crowd erupted again. How can you be so sure? The mask was still holding. Keanu moved closer to the screen. Because this version of me has never suffered, never lost friends, never felt lonely. He turned to the hall. I doesn't know what it's like to hold a dying person's hand. Doesn't know what it's like to feel helpless. The hall fell silent. He may speak persuasive words, but he will never understand why they are important. On the digital screen, Keanu blinked, as if considering what was said. And then, he fell silent. He just looked at the real Keanu and didn't see anything. The crowd realized he couldn't answer, because he didn't know what it meant to be human. Musk looked at the screen. He understood everything. But the dispute was not over yet. Keanu's shocking development. Is he also featured on AI? The crowd was still reeling from the silence of the Keanu members. Musk seemed to be thinking for the first time in the entire debate. His AI version of Reeves froze on the screen, as if he had lost his algorithm for responding. But instead of finishing off his opponent, Keanu did something unexpected. You know, Elon, he looked directly at Musk. I invested in artificial intelligence. There was silence in the hall. Even Musk looked surprised. What? You heard right. Keanu leaned forward slightly. I've been investing in AI for the last 5 years. The crowd exploded. The chat on the broadcast went into chaos. What the? Keanu, betrayal. Musk immediately seized the initiative. You just said that technology will never replace people. And I still think so. Musk frowned. Then why? Because technology is not the enemy, Keanu said calmly, but there was steel in his voice. The enemy is the one who uses it to erase meaning. The crowd fell silent again. You want to create perfect content that will replace people, he continued. And I want technology to create people. The mask looked at him, narrowing its eyes. You're playing a double game. Keanu shook his head. I just see different things. He looked around the hall. Technology has never been the problem. The problem is how we use it. Musk did not respond immediately. Then he grinned. So you play on the DVA front? I play for people. The crowd burst into applause. But Musk was not yet defeated. And his last trump card could change everything. Musk's last move. Keanu responds with one phrase. The crowd continued to buzz. Keanu had just made a shocking development. He was investing in AI. Not to replace art, but to protect it. Musk watched him closely, analyzing every word. Elon was not used to losing. He was not going to give up his position. History favors efficiency, he said finally. Keanu didn't answer right away. It's a fact, Musk continues. Cars replaced horses. Electricity replaced candles. The internet replaced newspapers. That's progress. You don't use the telegraph, do you, Keanu? Reeves smiled slightly. No. You know what's funny? Musk raised an eyebrow. People still ride horses. The crowd began to buzz. They don't do it out of necessity, Keanu continued. They do it out of choice. The mask grinned. Do you really think people will have a choice? When algorithms start to understand taste better than we do. When they create films, books, music that are perfect for everyone. He looked into the audience, catching support. Who needs a chaotic, unpredictable person when a controlled system can deliver the best content every second? The crowd froze. Musk delivered an unrivaled blow. You're fighting the inevitable, Keanu. There was silence. But Keanu didn't even blink. He looked Musk straight in the eye and said 5 words. History does not remember machines. The hall exploded. Someone jumped up from their seats. Tens of thousands of messages flew into the comments. The mask fell silent. Technology makes us faster, Keanu continues, over the noise. More convenient. More efficient. But machines don't define meaning. We do. He looked up into the hall. You can create the perfect algorithm to find content for people, but you can't make them love it. Musk crossed his arms over his chest, releasing the tension. The crowd roared. But Keanu isn't done yet. And his last argument was decisive. Keanu delivers the final blow. Musk doesn't respond. The crowd roared. Musk stood with his arms crossed, but now his confidence was shaken. Keanu had said only 5 words, but they had blown Alona's argument to smithereens. History does not remember cars. This phrase hit harder than all his speeches before. Keanu could see that Musk was thinking about what he had said, looking for a loophole, but there was no time left. You think you're the future, Keanu continued, his voice calm but steely. But you're just the past. A dead silence in the hall. Even Musk stopped moving. The past is the belief that technology can replace man. This was first said 100 years ago. They said that radio would destroy books, that cinema would kill theater, that television would bury cinema. Keanu took a step forward. But they haven't disappeared. Technology doesn't kill meaning. They are guilty of fighting it for us. He looked into the crowd. And we always won. The hall exploded. It was a moment no one will forget. Musk stood silently. He lost. What Keanu didn't just defend was that he showed his essence. AI can be fast, smart, perfect. But he can't be human. Future device people, not machines. Keanu looked straight at Musk. I know that. Musk did not respond. He just looked away. And Keanu, with the same calm confidence with which he began, took the final step to the edge of the stage. This is just the beginning, he said. The crowd exploded. Elon Musk no longer controlled the conversation about the future. Keanu Reeves just changed the game. Keanu Reeves destroyed Elon Musk? The final blow that changed everything. When the dust settled and the crowd quieted down, everyone realized this wasn't just an argument. It was humanity versus the machines, and Keanu Reeves had delivered the finishing blow. Musk has proven that the future belongs to technology, that AI is replacing people, but his final argument collapses before one simple truth. History does not remember cars. He couldn't answer. He just remained silent. Is this the end? Or just the beginning? Machines continue to grow. Humans continue to persist. And one day this argument will come out in the debate. Whose side are you on? Subscribe, like, and click the bell to stay up to date with news stories that will change your mind.